Thanks for tuning in to Unclogged, a Zoom Drain podcast, where we take an in-depth look at the wins and losses of our niche home service. We're also going to look at best practices on unclogging your business and the pipe dreams that motivate our every move. Are you ready? Let's run it.
Ellen Rohr, president of Zoom Drain Franchise, and very excited to visit with you, Teresa Mangano.
Yes.
Did I pronounce your name properly?
You did.
All right. Okay, good. We're going to talk recruiting.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of whining out there. I can't find good people. Makes me absolutely bonkers. Because they're great people everywhere.
Amazing people.
Yeah. You live in a town of 1 million people. How many people do you need? 20 out of 1 million? I bet you could find them. So Teresa is our full-time recruiter, recruiting manager at Zoom Drain, and she provides these services for our franchisees.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so give me your overall philosophy of recruiting. Like if you were to just share, this is what my approach is, this is what a win looks like for recruiting. Let's hear a little bit of your philosophy.
I think my philosophy with recruiting is it really is about people, right? It's not about a resume. It's not about what people, put on a piece of paper and kind of put in front of you as this is who they are. It's not who they are. So I think number one, looking at the resume can be useful, give you some information, but it is not an indicator if someone is going to be a good hire or not a good hire. You have to really look completely beyond that. Some of the best hires I've made, if I looked at their resume and just based it solely off of that, would never have hired them. And they are amazing employees, amazing people. So that's number one. Number two is you can't just do one thing and think that if I put it on Indeed, I'm going to get 1 million applications and it's going to be perfect, right? You have to make sure that you are doing a bunch of different things. Marketing and recruitment marketing is huge because you have to get your message out there in front of people so they're going to see it, they're going to connect with it, it's going to be impactful for them, and they're going to go, I want to work for Zoom Drain. Because who wouldn't want to work for Zoom Drain?
Yay! Well, we have such an amazing team.
We do.
And as we grow our franchise, one of the services that we're offering franchisees is that we're going to help them recruit. And I like what you said about combining marketing and recruiting. So we're really marketing for great people.
Yeah.
So one of our initiatives is we're going to adapt a very successful marketing program that we have called 40 Steps. And the history behind 40 Steps is this, that you might have heard in marketing that you need to reach out 5 or 7 times before someone sees you.
Yes.
You get their attention. 40 Steps is a 40 reach program. So we thought 7 works, let's make it 40. So in marketing, this is how we find our referral partners. We reach out to them in all different ways. So from social media and of course LinkedIn and snail mail, email, stopping and visiting people, sending them donuts or prizes or surprises or swag or whatever we need to do to make sure that when our franchisees move into a territory and they start contacting influencers, referral partners in their area, that they have some conversation started already, that the name is already out there. We're going to take the same approach with recruiting. So there are a couple of states in the United States, 2 states, where to do straight out drain cleaning, the requirements for licensing is higher, and that's Texas and Oklahoma. So in those 2 states where you need a journeyman's license and you need there's a special license on top of that specific to drains, we're starting right now to recruit. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about our efforts.
Yes. So again, definitely a multi-approach to it. So getting the word out in front of people and just kind of starting to identify who these people are, where they are, and figuring out, okay, so here are the people. Now, how do we get in front of them? Again,
are they working?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, it's not that, immediate need where they have to leave a company or they're necessarily looking for a job. We definitely want to get in front of people who are happy to a degree. They are at a company, and working, and then kind of figure out how do we get in front of them, right? What marketing programs and campaigns can we get in front of them so they realize we have this opportunity, coming up, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity, and it's ground floor. So to be able to come in as that licensed person and help not only the business succeed quicker, but be able to train people and get them on the same, kind of program, so to speak, and then your path forward. And we've talked to so many
much
people.
Opportunity, because I know some great contractors. I've met a lot of people in my life, and there's some very big contractors, say in Texas. Mm-hmm. And it can be that if you're working for a company that has hundreds of employees, that you might feel a little lost, a little bit overlooked, and you might be ready to be in on the ground floor of something new. So what we're going to try and do is create opportunities, or at least market these opportunities in such a way that if that's you, if you're ready to move into a position quicker, you want to move faster, you want to maybe not start your own company, but work for someone who's up and coming. Also, I know that just the way our industry is so fragmented, some folks have gone off and started their own businesses. Hey, you have the right to do that. If that's your dream, go for it. However, sometimes it's a little bit more than you might expect.
Yes.
And so what kind of messaging could we share in this campaign for those people?
I think the messaging overall is just that, you can come work here, use your skills, your knowledge, your experience, and not have to worry about the rest. A lot of people, I think, when they do kind of break out on their own, they think it's going to be very simple. They've had maybe exposure to different aspects of running a business, but when you get down to, paying vendors and worrying about, payroll maybe and taxes and all the legal ramifications that come with it, it's just not always what it's cracked up to be. So us offering them an alternative, right? You can kind of integrate with us, take all that you know and all that you are, and use it in a much less stressful environment, I think is really important for people to understand. It's just the flip side of the people in the big companies who are just that next person up feel. And, if they, left the next day, is that going to matter? No. So it's different messaging, but it's the same basic feel overall, where just come work for us and grow, and don't worry about working 70, 80, 90 hours a week, running your own place, and be important and appreciated for what you do and who you are.
It sounds good. Now talk to me about the Zoom Drain has a ladder of opportunity. We like to make a transparent path to your career available. And do you use that in your recruiting, and maybe 100%. Share this a little bit? Because I think it's exciting.
Yes,
let's hear about it.
It's very exciting, and it's one of the things that really kind of makes people's eyes go, wait, what? You do what? So we definitely have that out there, in all of our marketing, right? Our job ads, we have it on our career site, which is Zoom Drain Careers, and it is a pretty newly launched site that really walks people through what it's like to work at Zoom Drain.
ZoomDrainCareers.com.
Yeah,
Bam.
Don't forget it. Check it out. And, we have an incredible marketing team that really worked so hard to get this just right and have it be a really authentic, good feel, because it is representative of who we are as a company. So the salary ladder is what we call it, and it just walks a candidate through their journey, because a lot of people do want to leave positions because they're not growing. There's nothing more for them there, and that's really important for a lot of people. So we show you how you come in, let's say as an entry-level apprentice. Maybe you have experience, maybe you don't, but we can get you from that entry-level, no experience apprentice through to a field supervisor, a general manager, a service manager, system engineer, and we do that for basically all of our positions, in our offices and in the field. So, and the same token, we can have an experienced person come in and still have that same feel, where maybe if they're at their current company, it may take them 6, 7, 8 years to get anywhere. We can take them there in a much shorter time, and it gives people a measure of control over their future.
It's a formal system. It's already built, and for each franchise, they're going to adapt it, because the franchisee is going to determine how much they're going to pay and what that ladder is. But, we're here to support you to make sure that it works for you and works in your market area. Is training a draw when it comes
Huge.
to? Okay, tell me about that.
Huge. So a lot of people truly do want to get into the trades, but there's a lot of barriers. There is sometimes the cost of having to attend a school, take out loans, pay for it, and then find a job after it. And there's just not a ton of programs out there that really truly offer a solid trade program. You know, some schools have VOTEX, but that's not as prevalent as it maybe was, 20, 30 years ago. So for us to be able to say, we're going to take you, and you worked in retail, right?
I've worked everywhere.
Yeah. A lot of our really good
Yes.
techs have worked,
Yes.
insurance salesmen, retail, food service. We can take you from absolutely point A, with no experience, never touched a pipe in your life, and, or a drain, definitely not a sewer. And we can take you from that point and get you, again, to that point where you're really experienced and you're not alone. That is the biggest thing that I hear from techs is they never feel like they are alone when they're in the field. Even though they're at a customer's home, a business by themselves, there's someone they can call. There is backup for them.
That's what's so cool about the community of the
Yes.
franchises too. So here we are at a trade show. 37 team members came to the trade show. It was like optional. Hey, we're going to be there. We're going to set up a booth. You guys want to come? And it was so great having techs from all over the country meet, go out to dinner, walk the show together, and meet with each other on the group chat.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of support along those lines. Let me describe what the journey of a franchisee would be, and then how we're going to support them in their recruiting. Okay, so you come on board as a franchisee. Congratulations, you've made a great decision. Here's what happens next, and then you'll work with our franchise orientation team, and we'll take you through this very elaborate checklist. And the good news is much of the work on this checklist is work we're going to do at the franchisor. So we really want to set you up for success and do as much as we can in terms of catching calls, training checks, getting the trucks lined up, and helping you make money. Calls, texts, trucks, why? Money. So that's really the focus of your journey with us as a Zoom Drain franchisee. So as soon as you start, for instance, if you're in Texas, we will be recruiting for experienced and licensed plumbers in Texas. Now, in other states, an experienced guy is still going to be your first hire, maybe your first or second hire, because having that experience is going to be helpful. In addition to what we have in our training and our manual, someone who has made their way around drain equipment could keep you a little bit safer, right? So it's safety first. We have great systems for training, but that experience will be helpful to you. So your first hire in Texas is probably going to be a licensed plumber.
Absolutely.
And that person is then going to help you find and recruit your first apprentice. And then we'll start moving that apprentice into the first truck, and then that apprentice will go into their next truck, and then we'll get 2 more apprentices, and you're going to grow your company that way. So the cool thing about what Teresa and her team are going to do to help with recruiting is that the people we'll be reaching out to are already working.
Yes.
There's no pressure. We're just softening the market for you so that when you are ready to hire that first team member, they've heard about you. Do you know who was not looking for a job? Courtney.
She wasn't.
Courtney was
She
not looking for a
wasn't.
job. So one of our team members, who is just an absolute rock star, we reached out to her in LinkedIn. Yeah, and she was a happy girl at her job, but was working for a more mature company and was ready to be part of a fast growth path, and that's what we're on.
Yeah, hasn't looked back since.
Yeah. So I am really excited. Any mistakes? How do we go? What are some mistakes that people make when it comes to recruiting or hiring that you just wish they wouldn't do?
I think
Is that a long list?
long list. No, the biggest thing that I wish people would not do when it comes to recruiting is think that they can just kind of put on their recruiting hat once a week, right? And just let it. It's not, recruiting is not organic. It doesn't just, they don't come to you. The applicants don't just kind of fall into your lap, They are out there, but you have to hunt. This is a kind of industry that you have to consistently practice. You have to hunt for people, find them, and Make sure that you are being very consistent in talking to them, because it is, again, very much like marketing. It is speed to lead. I had a company that I worked for, a marketing person would say that all the time, speed to lead. And that is what this is, right? You got to be fast. You got to be right on the ball. So that's a big
speed to lead. So if someone reaches out to us, how fast do we get back to them?
Very, very quickly. Very quickly. I'm in my system multiple times a day, just constantly looking. Anyone else apply? And we do a lot with text messaging because it's just a really good way to let people know what we're offering and what's going on. And we get a pretty good response rate back from that. So.
Love that. I'm going to give a recruiting tip.
Yes.
You know what drives me bonkers?
What?
Is when people say, I can't find good people. And they're saying that right next to someone who works with them.
Yes.
He just heard you say that.
Yeah.
And then you're just creating this like explanation. You could be right about that, or you could be rich. You could be right, or you could be kind. That's Wayne Dyer. But I love that. You don't have to be right about that. You could open yourself up to maybe I'm not doing everything I can to recruit, because there are really great people out there. There are people with licenses. There's people with experience that when they come to the party and work with you, man, that's really going to help you take off like a rocket.
It will. Yeah, I've kind of started to, I've learned to block that mindset out because it's been prevalent for decades, right? It's always been kind of that theme is, well, I can't. And I think it's shifting that narrative to, well, you can't because of your mindset. That's a part of it. You have to change that and open your eyes a little bit. Again, look beyond the resume, look beyond what you're doing and try some crazy stuff. Why not?
What's the craziest thing you've ever tried?
Done some movie theater advertising, which was a lot of fun. I definitely really want to do some kind of door knocking advertising and get right like at people's homes, right?
I think their mother should know what a great job we have to offer.
Yes.
Their wife, their sister.
Yeah.
Get the family involved in the
husband,
recruiting.
Yeah. I mean, getting women in the industry is something that is huge.
Oh, before we sign off, can we address this a little bit? Because this is something you and I feel strongly about as women in the industry. Yes. So certainly it is a man's world in the drain and sewer. Here we are at a big show, and then there's some women here more than there used to be. What? Shout out. So we're happy about that. Any ideas for how we could recruit women to come find these great jobs? Because our service techs make really great money.
Fantastic money.
Have awesome benefits. Again, it will depend on individual franchisees and where you're operating. But on our watch, we think these jobs are valuable, and we want people who come into our industry to have careers, not just jobs.
Yes.
So. What could we do?
I think it's really about, again, marketing, right? And helping people change the narrative, because it's always kind of been, and I think as a woman working in construction for, I think, 11 years now, I think it's that mindset of, well, why would I want to do that? Or I don't know if I can do that. So I think it's, you can. Why can't you? What's stopping you? It's that kind of internal debate, I think, that people have with themselves. Well, I'm a female and I don't know. And I've met a ton of fantastic women in the trades. So I think it's, again, getting that marketing out there and, helping people understand that absolutely they can do it. There's literally no reason why they can't. Like anybody else, right? There's no reason why you can't do it except for you stopping yourself from doing it.
Now, when you signed on with Zoom Drain, did you go on a ride along?
I have not yet.
What?
I know.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. It was like, bam, just out the door.
Okay, we're going
to
pinky swear that next week you're going to schedule it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's the deal. Okay.
Yeah, but we do a ton of those. And everybody in our office, regularly does those when they come on board with us.
Ride along? Not yet? Okay. Will you schedule yours next week? Okay, good. We have a lot of new team members, but it really puts in perspective. Courtney went on a ride along.
Yes.
Yeah, and had a blast. Went with
it is so much
Josh.
fun.
Yeah, it's such a great way to see, because maybe your perception of what this job is different than what it really is. These guys take a lot of pride. They like to keep things clean. Yep, it's a dirty job. But it doesn't have to be a messy or dangerous job.
No.
Certainly that's what all the systems and the procedures are about. So it's nice to get a feel for what it is that we do. So yes, that's your pinky swear. Well, Teresa, any last words for us about recruiting? Give us something to feel optimistic about.
I think, again, try some fun stuff. The people are 100% out there. People want to work. So change your narrative from that negative to that positive and understand that you may have to work a little bit harder, but you can find some amazing people in places you never thought that you couldn't even imagine that you could find people. So keep at it, and they're there, and they want to work. They want to work for you, but give them a reason to want to work for you.
One of the things I love about you is how much you enjoy this process.
Yes.
What's a story? We'll end on a story that made you feel really good. In your career, you have an opportunity to impact lives. Yeah. Tell us a story about a time where you thought, yeah, this is all right.
Yeah, I think my favorite story is a gentleman that I had interviewed for a position, and, it just ended up not working out. And he sent me a card. And on that card, after I had said to him, I'm sorry, and we kind of had that conversation, he sent me a card in the mail saying that I had impacted him just in the way that I interacted with him, and that he would always remember me because it was about how I made him feel, right? And I think that is something that's always foremost in my mind is, it's not just a job. It's not just me talking to people and, deciding yes or no. It is human beings that you have to keep that in your mind, and making sure that you're communicating to the best of your ability and just treating them like people. I treat people the way I want to be treated. And I can be a little feisty.
Yes.
And people I work with know
Another
that.
thing I love about you.
But, end of the day, we're all human. And let's have a good time. And let's work hard and move each other forward. So
let's high five.
One.
What?
Yeah.
Yay. Well, give it up. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
So excited.
Yeah.
Thanks.